do that now, putting those turrets in the background, basically. Oh, the dropship carelessly going down for Uv, getting hit by that just basically a nick by that turret. Yeah, so he's going to move in forces, and really Uv can't do anything about that. More SCVs coming off the line from that drop from Uv. Looks like he's managed to take out another few SCVs, but again, it's not going to matter just because of the sheer amount of expansions and holdings that Mind has. And Mind, basically in a couple minutes here, is just going to be able to absolutely overwhelm Uvi's forces. Uvi, I don't think, has any protection out of his res, and Uvi completely losing that northern base. I think he realizes those turrets are in position, that he can't really hold it, so he's just going to, I think he's just going to let it go. But in the meantime, yeah, Uvi in big trouble now, just absolutely getting dominated on the resource battle. So he's going to take this opportunity to kind of push ahead with the forces that he has. But it looks like Mind expected kind of one of those desperation attacks at this point. A good plan on his part, putting siege tanks across the middle holdings, and basically siege position. Basically Iloveoov trying to go basically the ground route and getting dropped all over, not able to save that expansion. He should have just let it go and maybe gone for an attack on his man. Uvi realizing he's in big trouble now. Only has, again, not producing out of his main anymore. Looks like he has managed to secure that location outside his base, but that's vulnerable. Looks like that's gonna be taken out of his hands right now by Mind. Mind can basically concentrate all his forces at the location. That's very, and he can do that without much reserve, simply because that's right outside Uvi's main base, and he can see most of the drops going. And oh man, just I cannot iterate how many bases that Mind has at this point. He controls so much of the map. It looks like he's just going to plant turrets around the base, and really only two locations really producing all that much for Uv anymore. And pretty soon you're just gonna see a huge amount of forces out for Mind, and just a teeny amount of forces out for Uv, and he can just basically use this dropship force that he has to drop all over. It doesn't matter how many turrets he has up, he's just gonna be able to use an overwhelming force of tanks and Goliaths and these dropships to kind of go in and press in. And it'll be interesting if he looks like that engineer. I'm not sure what blew up there. Might have been an engineering bay right there. But right now it looks like what Mind's gonna do is he's just gonna use these dropships to patrol across the middle, make sure that Uv can't get out, and then basically, as you can see on the mini-map, a large amount of forces in the background starting to push in. He's just going to basically start streaming forces, and then once he feels like he has a large enough force, getting another expansion down, once he has large enough force, he's just going to press in and finish Uv. And wow, yeah, as you can see, he's producing out of so many bases right now, and getting another base down. He controls the entire map. He has all the resources right now, and we'll see if he decides to end it right here, because he just again, he already has a large force. Uv completely in defensive mode, and I don't see Uv winning this in the long run. He's gonna have to pull out some miracle micros, some miracle defense. Really, these Korean, basically professional Koreans, they spend most of the days, I think, thinking of strategies to break kind of held-in Terran defenses, and gonna siege that ridge, and basically just he can basically allow his tanks to take those hits off the comsat and kind of trade tanks, because Uv can't afford to replace those tanks, or Mind can. And he basically just gonna, wow, just so much, all turrets all over. He has turrets completely lining that entire area. So even if Uv decided to float a command center out here, the command center would immediately be spotted and hit several times, and a lot of comsat going down. A lot of sorry, sorry, losing my voice right there. Again, a lot of smoke in the air in the San Diego area right now. And as you can see, Uv realizing, I think he's in a bad position. He got a comsat down. He's seeing all those factories. He's seeing all these forces here, just setting up siege where he can. He's going to try to use those dropships to deal with whatever attack that Mind throws in at him. But really, Mind is leisurely going to be able to end this match at this point. Uv just not kind of pressing out when he really needed to. I think that was a clever strategy, putting down that natural expansion, but just not pressing in when he needed to, and not taking the rest of the map when he needed to. Very creative play, but not paying off. And that's really disappointing. I really wanted to see Uv win this, and I know I'm talking as though he's already defeated and that it's kind of inevitable, but really, I honestly feel it is. A lot of tanks reinforcing, and yeah, I think a lot of those dropships are going to just press down on that main. And basically, what that's doing for Mind at that moment is that's going to force those forces out of that dropship, and he's going to be able to basically just get a huge force and probably flood just straight up the middle. Probably what I would do is I would take that expansion he's camped outside of right now, and then as soon as he does that, camp a bunch of siege tanks out the outside, and kind of do as soon as he's sieged across that ridge, then go for the secondary and just move right up the ramp. And even though there's a lot of siege tanks at the position, they're very vulnerable just to a couple drops here and there of Goliath. And it looks like, yeah, what he's going to do instead is he's just going to kind of push up with a lot of tanks, use the dropships to kind of drop across all the siege tanks from behind. He's just going to pin all these units in. Wow, so many tanks, not even bothering to siege them, just going to roll up with them and roll Uvi over. Uvi in a completely defensive position. Look at all those tanks, just such a huge army. And right now he's going to try to load up those forces at the south, maybe try to do a counterattack, but really those turrets are going to spot that out. But really what Mind is going to produce out of his base in the meantime is going to be able to counter this, and it looks like he's just going to plant a bunch of SCVs down underneath, and he's going to be able to take this out almost with SCVs that he's producing alone. Yeah, as you can see, in the meantime, bringing a lot of units to take care of that attack force, or actually he's you can see able to fill up all those dropships, so he might be able to save that. In the meantime, that looks like that natural expansion did have a lot of res at it still, and that's been taken out. And he's just probably going to... Looks like he's going to try to save this. I would have actually taken that right into Uvi's main instead of bothering otherwise. And I think once this attack is basically stopped, that's going to be GG for Uvi. Uvi realizing that he's completely surrounded. He's getting completely dominated economically. He's getting completely dominated in production, and he's just kind of waiting for his demise. Once this tank dies, I would expect a GG very shortly afterwards. And as you can see, he's got a large fort. Yeah, he calls GG right there. Good match, and really I wanted Uvi to advance, but got to give it to Mind. Played solid, and really just, wow, fantastic macro. And really, wow, very solid player, proving himself to be a very solid player in these longer games. I hope you guys enjoy that. About to Uvi, that's very respectful. I like that. I like seeing good sportsmanship in these matches. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. This was another English commentary by Diggity. Again, check out the Blue Cross, donate what you can to the San Diego wildfire relief. And hope you guys are doing well wherever you're at. If you're in San Diego, hope everything's safe. Talk to you later.
박성균 선수가 또 한 번의 테란 주현준 선수와 경기 펼친다면 그 경기 내용도 상당히 훌륭하게 하셨죠. 일단 박성균 선수 축하하고요. 자, 이렇게 되면서 SK텔레콤 T1 6명으로 이번 시즌 시작했는데 한 명 유일하게 남은 게 최현성 선수였습니다. 그런데 그 최현성 선수마저 발걸음을 돌리게 되면서 SK텔레콤 T1의 선수는 이제 남지 않게 됐습니다. 자, 이렇게 이제 6번째 8강 진출자 가졌고요. 잠시 후에는 7번째 8강 진출자 가졌는데 이지호 선수와 한상봉 선수의 경기 바로 이 경기입니다.